And it's just fascinating to hear how people's sentiments towards the ego is compared to how I learned it growing up, where I grew up and everybody taught me that the ego was bad and that the ego is arrogance and ego is cockiness and overconfidence. And it took a long time to learn that on my end, where the ego is just something that protects you, whether or not it's protecting you with a lie, saying like, for example, let's say you're afraid of heights and your ego is just protecting you from that, falling from that height, and it doesn't want you to go up. That's your ego talking. But then learning to honor that voice and accept it, that it's there and that it's a part of you and that you can move past it, was then the next step for me in understanding what that ego was. Because I agree, I don't think the ego is a bad thing at all. And you put a good point of like learning to listen to it. What was that journey like for you in trying to honor that voice?
Oh, I just invited everybody to a table in my mind, like literally
Mm,
a circular table.
yeah,
And my ego would come and it would definitely say, like, the most fear-based thing. Maybe you're going to make a fool of yourself. And what if you can't do that? And then, then what happens? We get kicked out of the group and nobody likes us. And, if you think about animal populations as an individual, you're the most at risk
mm,
out in nature. And so you
yeah,
want to be in the group. And so I would just say thank you for your contribution, because you're totally right. If I were an animal in an animal population and I did something that they all kicked me out of the group, we'd be really at risk. But this, I don't think, is that moment,
mm,
even though for you, ego, it might feel like that moment. Here, I'm just going to try something new that I haven't done before, and it's quite likely that I'm going to fail, but it's in a really supportive atmosphere or a really safe atmosphere to do that. And that might be an acting class, or that might be, on a set when I was going to try something new. And oftentimes I'd ask, the director if they're like, oh, okay, we got it. And I'm like, can I do one or two more? I just have a couple of the colors I really want to try. And that's where I'd throw out new stuff that I really wanted to do, but it might not go well.
mm,
And so it's a good, totally supported atmosphere. We've
yeah,
already got the
yeah,
take. That we do have some extra time. Boom, you get to try something in higher stakes circumstances.
mm,
Um, so yeah, like, and I also bring a pretty logical mind to the table to go, like, what information do we have? What information do we not have? Like,
mm,
say, for example, if my ego is telling me you're not ready and you're going to fail, I go to logic being like, why might I fail? What am I not seeing here? What haven't I prepared? Is there
yeah,
something I can do in terms of, can I practice more? As opposed to just shutting it all down, but also not like, I'm not gonna not do it because
yeah.
ego said, hey, we're scared. I'm like, I get it. And you can have a bubble bath later and we can try it, right? But yeah, I'm not really into denying much of myself right now, because I think we do
Mm,
so much of that. Um, and we're taught to deny so many pieces of ourselves like they're bad. I'm
mhm,
like, they're not bad. They need to be heard and
yeah.
listened to. Does it mean you have to act on them? No, you don't.